Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Esports Report, talking everything Call of Duty, and there's lots to talk about.
So much Call of Duty action going on. Hard to keep up with everything.
Roster Mania, the first move made official this morning.
We have all of the intel as it clears live.
Previously on the Major League Gaming Call of Duty Pro League.
Optic Gaming, the most dominant team in the Pro League right now, Mr. X. They're currently on a 13-game win streak.
Phenomenal. I mean, Scump is arguably the MVP of the COD League.
Denial has been so dominant as of late.
Big trade commitment between Envy and Denial. Now Clayster and Jake both firmly. Breaking news, Parasite officially traded to Faze. Internally they seem to be blowing up, but yet their results in the COD League have been so consistent.
No, since putting together their new roster, things have been up and down, Puckett, but on a good day, this roster is so talented, I think they can compete with Optic Gaming.
Aware, kind of picking up all the youngsters on their squad. There's Hugh and TJ Halley, definitely a duo to look out for this week.
Team Caliber, since moving into the team house, they've got all the way from the bottom 4 into the top 6.
Envy struggling a lot in the COD League. You gotta wonder if Saints and Zuma are gonna be that spark they need to come out of the bottom.
Chino's really the player to look out for. You know, when we were in Orlando, a lot of players were telling me and Ben that Chino's the best hardpoint player in the game.
Chicago with DA!
Attach!
No time.
The Wizard
He's gonna
gets
find
it
him.
done!
Scumpy just peeks back, finds a second.
Oh,
And the
no,
bird
that
from
is
Scumpy
unreal.
formed. Oh my god!
No.
Oh! Massive play coming out from Optic Gaming. He turns around, gets one more. There's gonna be more.
God.
Surely not!
He is going nuts.
Time is ticking. He's just gonna kill a ball game, man! Ever since he turned up, he turned up and the power play. Just hyped, man. This is a great lineup. The line, Faze jump down! Faze win the championship! He's just gonna kill a ball game, man! Unbelievable play!
That video gets me hype every time. Welcome back. It's time for match number 1. Let's get right into it with our team intros. We're going to see Rise Nation facing off against Faze. Rise, our number 8 seed, our first team to be introduced. Break it down, Maven.
All right, well, let's go through. First off, our maps here for LB1 is, well, let's go through the roster first, then we'll get into the maps here. But Chino is going to be our first player. He is going to be the main Slayer, and honestly, yesterday, struggled a bit. Lag behind in the slaying department. They're going to need him to really turn up today.
Yeah, really need to see big numbers from him. Diabolic was kind of our key player in a lot of those matchups against Optic yesterday. We'll see if he can turn things on. Really, this whole team, which is kind of flat, but when Diabolic gets things going, he is ferocious with that ASM-1. I'm looking, though, for Pac-Man. He really had the roughest of the night out of the Rise crew. He needs to put up complimentary numbers to stick up there if they want to hang with this Faze game. You know, we're going to see Aches and Pac-Man. That's the 2 players I'm going to look out for from each team today.
All right, then finally we have Cinder here. He was the one really that kept up to a degree with Optic yesterday in the slaying department. You saw him in the solar hard point. I think he dropped high 30s, was really keeping pace, but the only one really yesterday that was putting up in this slaying department. We'll see if he can keep it rolling today.
Sender and Chino, in their first appearance here in the Columbus Arena, they got a runners-up, a second-place position at the end of Ghost. They do not want an 8th place here this week, and so a major match for them, and they're going up against a former teammate. Let's introduce the Faze squad.
All right, we'll take a look at Faze here, and first up is going to be Aches. He's the one that, for me, all eyes are on this Faze roster. We've talked about it over and over again. If he turns up, they might be the best team in the game. Didn't have a great Friday, needs to step it up here on Saturday.
We'll see how much drive he has today. As you said, definitely the X factor. We take it to Enable, though. This man, number 2, only behind Scump for overall KD in the regular season. Enable, a slaying monster. Yesterday, though, not the numbers we expected from him. We'll see if he puts up the same stats as he did online. But Parasite, he played the best. If you look at just the numbers, he was really well-rounded. He got the objective done for this squad, but he also might be the cancer to this team if he keeps putting his teammates on blast.
He's frustrated with the team right
Exactly. But Slasher, he was another guy. We looked at Enable and Slasher really be super slayers. They weren't yesterday. Slasher definitely has that potential. We talked about the former teammates. He was also on that Noble squad. That's where he really broke out. It was his breakout event last time here in the arena, going up against his old teammates, Chino and Sender. Really looking forward to that little mini rivalry within this series.
Yeah, I think Slasher actually ended up in that like top 5 or 6 spot in KD yesterday. So he had despite the fact that they were upset, he had a pretty good Friday. But we are getting ready to start off day number 2 here. Who are you liking for this one?
Obviously FaZe. You know, we got FaZe as the higher seed here. I think yesterday might have been an anomaly or maybe just a wake-up call. I'm expecting them to be a little bit fresher. You saw Enable and Slasher down here. They were 2 of the first people into the whole venue. They're warmed up. They're ready to go. But our key players in this matchup, Slasher definitely going to be one of the keys on hardpoint for this FaZe squad. And on the other side, we got Sender, who's all smiles once again today.
We were talking about this earlier. This is what the old Noble duo. They made that run in the Season 3 playoff at Ghost, ended up getting second. Obviously, parted ways. They were hot commodities coming out of Ghost. Really 2 players that, to a degree, came out of nowhere. And just taking a look at the stats, you can see both have been performing at a very, very high level.
Excited to see what's going to happen, Maeve. Now we can break down the best of 5, kicking things off with Retreat Hardpoint. What's coming up game 2?
All right, so game 2 is going to be Terrace S&D, followed by Biolab CTF. The 4th game will be Comeback Uplink. And if we do reach a game 5, it'll be Detroit S&D. Now, when we take a look at this game number 1, Retreat Hardpoint, that was thankfully Benson. Thank you for putting together statistics here for the Season 1. And both, honestly, it's pretty close. 42% win for FaZe, 46 for Rise. So very, very close, Chris.
I'm opening things up with Chino. As we said yesterday against Optic Gaming, Chino was supposed to be their superstar in Hardpoint. He didn't really show up. So today, looking to see how he's going to be kicking off the event. First gun engagement, just stays alive, now battling against Enable, and he's going to be taken down. So it looks like early control is going to go over to this FaZe squad as we stay on board with Rise. We have Sender on your screen.
Yeah, I expect this one to be pretty back and forth here in the Central Hill. Don't typically get a ton of time, but any advantage you can get through this first one is a big deal. We're watching Enable here as he's rotating out. Going to be able to pick up, oh no, just hit markers on one, finally cleans up the other, but tight so far.
Going back over to Rise Nation, this is Diabolic. We talked about his ASM1 skills. Right now he's 2-2. Sender, though, 4-2, has been getting the job done with the bow. Not this time, as Parasite is going to pick up his 3rd and 4th capture. Pretty impressive stuff, just jumping in and out of this hard point. We talked about score streaks, might be seen at COD Champs. Parasite, definitely a guy who might be able to abuse that at the next event.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. But this second hill, Chris, this is your money hill. Absolutely, this is where you can pick up a ton of time. And we're watching Slasher. He's set up here, but no one covering his back. He is going to get flanked. And it does look like control here should fall to Rise. They got a decent setup, but gets broken so quickly by FaZe. Excellent job. Aches with the entry kills.
You look at the setup here. You had 3 players all outside the hill. Parasite was inside and Aches was moving back to support, but just like that, it's retaken. Rise now charging back over as FaZe is going to see Slasher and Enable break once again. So slight interruption inside the hard point for FaZe, but they're right back in it and they continue to rack up time after 2 minutes. We're going to see Rise fighting for just their 10th point, finally going to break that 10 mark. 50-14 at the moment as we're going to go down to our last 10 seconds in the hill. The rotation is on the move. And we're going to stay on board with Chino. As you can see on the mini-map, the rotation throughout. Chino's stats here, averages almost 28 kills per game, 21% in that search and destroy. But here he is trying to break the hill. Going to find 2. Big kills there. Taking control as Sender's going to get the 3rd on Enable.
And they've got a pretty good setup here inside of Art. You can see via the mini-map, they've got 2 outside, 2 playing inside of the hill. Got every edge locked down here, but here's going to come the Swarm. Faze is rushing in. Shots from Chino. Not able to clean up 1. He's going to be taken down. That is going to be 2 down right now for Rise, as Faze broke that so easily.
Looking through, you can see the clean sweep. Once again, this is going to be Rise's hard point. They're able to catch up on the scoreboard as well. Now just down 10 seconds. It was a 40-point game on the previous hill. So Chino, really Huge plays to break the first hard point, and now he's got some help trying to control it, but just like that, Aches and Slash are moving in to clear things out. We were wondering what Aches we're gonna see.
Wow.
He just showed off his stuff. Nice two-piece, 12 and 7 to lead all players in the lobby right now.
I think control on this hill changed about 5 times. Aches and crew, great job breaking it. Diabolic got a huge two-piece, and it was so back and forth. You can tell by the score, just about 20 points separated these teams now, but we're going to move it outside. We're on board with Slasher, trying to watch this backside, watching top steps through middle. You can see via COD vision, there's a couple players who are going to be pushing. I like his positioning here. He should have some easy kills coming in from behind.
Slash is going to go down, but Parasite still inside. You got his teammates outside. Key player Enable over at Chess is locking it down. Let's go to him. And it looks like actually Enable going to top the leaderboard now as Parasite gets a little assist action. Slasher doing the damage outdoors. No one is getting close to Parasite because of the amazing slaying outside. Finally, Enable and Slash are going to fall. Parasite, though, defends himself well. And look at our scoreboard. Faze, once again, really starting to pull away.
And this is not, I mean, for me, this isn't a hill you usually get a ton of time on, but they just absolutely dominated Rise. They had 2 different 4-down situations, a 3-piece there coming out of Enable. Excellent job. Now, this final hill for me is another one that you can typically get 40 to 45 points on if you get a good setup. And we'll see who's going to be first in here. Looks like it is going to be Aches. Able to kill that player coming in from below. 2 pushing in through high. Tries the EXO above. It is going to be taken out there by Chino.
Chino locking down these red stairs. Going to find one more player as Enable pushes in again. How many times has Enable broken the hard point so far in this game? Aches also there to support. We're going to see Sender up top. Slasher now from low is going to try and find a new entry point. Nice job by Rise so far to hold things down at the top. Sender, only man up inside, and he was waiting in the perfect corner for that approach. He's going to now look at backstairs, but his teammates are there.
And I know sliding isn't everything, Chris, but just take a look right now. Every player pretty much, I mean, Parasite, you've seen he's been in the hill quite a bit, but outside of that, Enable 19 and 20 and 14, 20 and 13 for Aches, 18 and 16 for Slasher. Every player on the opposite side outside of Cheeto currently negative for Rise.
Rise trying to pick up those kills, desperately need them to hang in this game. It's starting to get out of their control. You can see once again, 40-point lead for this Faze lineup. Parasite in the hard point once again. I've been so impressed by Parasite's objective game so far at this tournament.
Yeah, you know, people were telling me early in this game that he might have been the most well-rounded player, and I thought people were crazy early. I'm going to be honest. He struggled a bit in Ghost, but at this point, it's hard. He's a top 5 player. He really can do everything in this game. Gets a little flustered with his teams at times, but like you said, a little cancerous. But when it comes to skill, unparalleled, really.
Absolutely. If you could just control those emotions and make them positive, we'll definitely see him performing. Right now, he's 15 and 18, but really, if you had a hard point counter, I'd say he's probably got 60% of his team's points. And we're going over to Slasher, and I wanted to show you the rotation here. Everyone else still focusing kind of on the courtyard. Slasher going to try and take control of this pool wall and goes right back into top lobby.
And yeah, they're going to be set up here nicely. Again, this is the money hill on retreat hard point. We have Slasher getting eyes here at top wall. Saw player trying to rotate out from mid-map, cut that off, pushing into lobby here. Gets eyes on one, hit markers, but is going to fall. Aches on the other hand, and Parasite each pick up 2 down right now for Rise, and the points are just raining in right now. Up 60 with 3:40 to play.
This is getting out of hand. Rise running out of time. 3 minutes and 30 seconds left. They desperately need to break this hard point, but the pressure, it just can't break through the setup here from Faze. Finally, 2 go down as Diabolic and Center pick up kills. Slasher answers back, and Diabolic will get in. There's still 30 points left on this hill, so a big break from Diabolic and Center. Can they hold on, though?
You know, I said Chino needed to turn up for this one. He has, but just looking at it, he's really the only one that's keeping up right now with Faze when it comes to sliding. That's going to be 3 down right now for Rise. Rotation going to be incoming soon, and they locked that down for the majority. But still, I mean, 40 points, when you look at the killing, I would think they're down 100 plus, but they're still holding on.
Diabolic is going to be the key player here to stop this Faze push. He's got teammates in the lobby, but he's got to protect them from this left courtyard side. He's going to fall, so Pac-Man now has to defend himself. He's got Slasher from the front. He's got pressure from Enable on the left. Going to pick up 1 before falling. Aches is inside, though, with the bow once again. And if the side, he's really going to be able to do. Staying inside the hill, though. He's ready to watch these doors. Picks up Diabolic. Sender going to be dropped. Enable will fall as Sender Only one really going to go down for Rise. Once again, it's Cheeto clearing the way for Pac-Man, who's right back in the hill.
Yeah, if they keep this up, they might pull it within 15 or so, but you got to think, that last bench hill is where it really pulled away for Faze. They completely locked it down. Parasite was in the hill pretty much for the entire thing, while Enable was just racking up kills with Slasher. Let's see if they can do it again, or if Rise can really mix it up on this second rotation.
Been really impressed with the way they allow Enable to just kind of float outside the hill. It's very Scump-like, just telling him, stay out of the hard point. We need you to rotate around and just pick up all the kills. But on top of that, he does have 9 captures. So that's telling me he's able to be involved in those breaks. Down goes Parasite, who is inside the hard point. Taking our screen over to Diabolic from Rise. Not out of it yet. A minute 40. They are just 30 seconds down now. They've brought it back. Can they hold on?
And this is the one that was all Faze's hill. They got so much time in this one, and now we'll see if Tides can turn. Parasite, if he gets set up in there and they get the surrounding slays, their Slasher got one, Parasite got one as well. They're starting to lock it down. Cinder really the only one in position right now to try and make a push. He's trying to get shots into Aches right now. He's got one more in front. Can he pick it up? Can he get 2? His teammate cleaned it up. They're trying to get pressure in. Parasite's still in the hill. Great kill by Cinder, though.
Cinder playing so well, those stuns, keeping Faze outside of the hard point. That is going to keep the score close. So really, it's all coming down to this final rotation. We're going to see this hill leave in 9 seconds. Cinder going to try and milk it. Questionable decision, because that's going to allow 4 players from Faze to set up inside. Enable already up top is going to be able to lock this down, and that may be the losing point of this game. Rise simply let it go, getting a little too greedy on that bottom hard point.
Yeah, if they get a couple of early kills here like they did, that's going to close it out. That's what, 4 down there. I think there was a team kill. Aches accidentally took out Slasher, but Enable still up top, locking it down, and it's about to be mathematically impossible here. I think it is actually now. So, wow. That, Rise did such a good job that they got completely dominated at that bench hill in the first rotation. They did a much better job trading. Like you said, it came down to the final hill. You saw it was 4 players of Faze. They got there first. They got set up. A little overzealous at that 4th hill from Rise.
And Parasite is going to be just cleaning up some final kills here as the clock ticks down. Faze is going to take game number 1 over Rise Nation. Enable successfully completing his 40 bomb, 36 kills for Slasher, and 8 going off as well. This is the Faze squad we expected to see. The score a little bit closer than we expected, though. As you said, this was definitely a one-sided affair when it came down to the slaying.
Yeah, again, when you look at it just on paper, numbers-wise, as far as slaying goes, every single player is pretty much positive. Parasite just about even, but he was, like you said, in the hard point the majority of the time. That could have been a much bigger margin, but looking at the slaying, who was it? Was it 44 for Chino?
Yeah, Chino went off, but Diabolic did not. 19 kills. That's less than Pac-Man, who had 26. Both players terribly negative with a .58 and a .68. Yes, Diabolic had a lot of captures, but you need to be contributing if you want to hang in these respawns. They got to wake him up, because we said coming into it, he was going to be a key player to watch. Definitely not a strong performer here in our first game.
They just really couldn't keep up with the slaying power of Faze. And that, again, you couldn't have said it better. That is the Faze we expected. When it comes down, when you look at it on paper, talent-wise, of those 4 players, who can compare, really? For me, they have the most talent on the squad.
And maybe Aware.
Yeah, that's about it. So impressive stuff there from Faze. We'll see if that's kind of getting the monkey off their back. They got that W. They won the first one. We'll see if they can keep it going.
All right, game number 2 is coming up next, guys. Rise looked pretty strong against Optic Gaming yesterday in their search and destroy. We'll find out if they can tie it up. Coming up next, stay tuned right here on MLG.TV.